So the other day I was at work and I was bored, not super slow at work. I was kind of browsing through some YouTube channels and I came across this one creator doing a video about the Fuji X100V. I watched it. I was like, that's kind of cool. And then another one came up. I watched it. And another one came up. And I watched it. It's like 3 or 4 in a row came up. I mean, boom, boom, boom. All about the Fuji X100V. And I thought that was kind of weird. Like, I just couldn't understand what's the catch of why these creators would be, pushing the X100V. But I got really interested in the camera after, kind of watching their videos. So I kind of went online and started looking around of, what might be available out there. Well, on Amazon, I found a brand new one for $2,200. I mean, $2,200. That's almost $2,300. That's just crazy talk for a camera that's, 3 or 4 years old or whatever it is. Can't find any used ones. I found a X100F, I think, which is the previous generation model. And it was like $1,400, which is what a X100V is, brand new. So I just decided that I couldn't give up that type of money for a camera like that. It just didn't seem. Plus, you never know if you're going to like it or not like it, or how it's going to work out for you. I just thought that was too much money to spend for a camera of that type. What's the next thing you start doing? Well, I start looking for alternatives, and I kind of started looking around there, and the thought crossed my mind. Well, screw all those old cameras. They're all kind of junky anyway. Why not just get the XS10 or go back and get the XT5 or maybe the H2S or whatever the new Fuji cameras are. But man, I've tried almost every one of those, and to be honest with you, if you take away the film simulations, there's not much difference between those cameras and like a Sony or anything like that. So I don't know. I just didn't want something like that with all like technology. Like, I really didn't want to even use it for video, and just a little too much more money than I wanted to spend on the camera that I might keep, but I just might not really love it that much, or whatever. I started looking at some used cameras around, and I came across this one, the Fuji XE2S is what I wound up kind of ordering. And I found a pretty good deal for it on KEH. I mean, it's practically brand new. You take it out of the box, you start playing around with it a little bit, and the first thing you kind of realize is, man, technology has come a long way since they introduced this camera. I mean, everything is just kind of slow and clunky. The autofocus isn't very good. I mean, it'll get it in focus, but it takes a minute, and it might do a little bit of pulsing back and forth. And I'll show you some of the pictures that I've taken with the XE2S since I've gotten it. The first few days, of course, I was taking a lot of pictures, and I enjoy the output of the camera. It's only like 16 megapixels. I put this 27 f2.8 lens on there because I think it's an appropriate size lens for this. Anything bigger, and it'll kind of feel kind of weird. The only thing about this lens is just a little bit too tight for my liking. Like, for kind of a point and shoot, I'm more of in the 35 range. Maybe just a little bit tight, but that's something I just have to kind of get used to. Even after having this camera for a few days, I come to realize that all this camera stuff, it just doesn't really matter. Like, I think we're all looking for a camera that inspires us, that makes us want to go out and take pictures. You hear about that online a lot. Like, in the end, some cameras are going to be more appropriate to take to places than others. For instance, you don't want to take a huge DSLR camera and, say into a restaurant or you're just, out with your friends, while you can get it by with something like this. So there is different cameras for different type situations. But in the end, I've found that if you're looking for a camera that, inspires you, it doesn't exist. The only thing that can really inspire you is yourself and what you enjoy doing. I've tried big cameras and small cameras and medium-sized cameras, APS-C, full frame, big lenses, small lenses, pancake lenses, prime lenses, huge zoom lenses, all that stuff. And it doesn't really matter. You have to commit yourself to going out and doing what you like to do. And what kind of camera you take doesn't really matter. So my advice to you is stop looking for cameras for inspiration. I mean, it might happen for a couple of days, a week or so, but after that, it's going to dive off. You're going to be right back to where you were, looking for your next bit of inspiration. Hope that helps. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.